Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for our weekly webinar. My name is Brittany. I'm part of the customer success team here at Kinderlime. And I hope everyone had a great Halloween. And if you have kids, I hope they made out like bandits with the candy. Today, we're going to be talking about how to create newsletters to send to your family, to your staff, and just how to put it all together so that you're able to communicate and make sure your families know what's coming up, what's been going on, and any other information you'd like to send. During this, I'm going to bring up a quick photo. There is going to be time after we go over the newsletters for questions, and you don't just have to ask questions about newsletters, but to do that, you should see a little icon that looks like this. That arrow right there, just click it and pop it out, and that will open up a field for you to send over questions. I'll be keeping an eye on the questions throughout, so if I'm explaining something, if my audio cuts out, whatever that may be, if you have a question in the moment, feel free to send that over. So if I can get it in the moment, especially if it goes with what we're currently talking with, I would love to be able to. And if it's something that would be better expanded at the end during the Q&A session, we'll go ahead and answer it then. But again, pop out the arrow, send over a question. I'll definitely be paying attention to them. So to get started, I'm going to log into my Kinderlime account. And this is my daycare. To open the newsletters, we have rearranged some things, but you'll now find the newsletters under Parent Connection and right here. So there's now two sections for the newsletters, or two tabs. So you'll find the first one, anything you've sent under sent, and anything that you've previously created under drafts. So if it's something that you're still working on, you've saved, that's where you're going to find those now. So it's separated out, so it's not just everything together. Your sent items are separate, your drafts are separate. To create a newsletter, it would just be a matter of hitting create new, and then you'll see the template pop up. What I'm going to do is use one that I already have started. Let's take a step back and go back to drafts. So go ahead and use my Thanksgiving one. Since Halloween just passed, we'll move over to Thanksgiving. With it, there's a lot of ways to customize the newsletters to what you want to share with the families. So starting off on the background, how do you want it to look when they open it? So we have a few different colors and preloaded backgrounds for you to use, and whatever makes you happy, you can go ahead and select. I'm going to use the leaves for this one. Coming down, the first thing is, what do you want to title the newsletter? That way, this also helps with organization. So when you're looking at the drafts or the sent newsletters, it'll help you sort exactly which one you're looking for. So whatever name you put there, just know on the main dashboard of the newsletters, that's how you can find that information. The other way to customize it are the different layout features that we have here. So you can pick whatever layout you want. If you want to add a header, you can throw that on there and just click edit. I'm just going to put random words, family time and memories for Thanksgiving. You can also add text. So if there's something you want to elaborate on, you can just drag something in there. This one is a photo icon. So if there's additional photos that you want to include, you can put that right there. And again, more text, and then the rest are just photos. When you go to upload a photo, what you would do is you can either drag and drop a photo here. So if you have a file, you can select one from if you have sent photos from the Kinderlime gallery. So as you use the activity field, you can actually save photos to the gallery. So when it comes time to making the newsletters, a really great thing is if there's cute photos that you want to share with all the family and just say, hey, this is what we did for this week, you can use the gallery to be able to do that. And if there's any that you sent or unsent, as long as they're saved to the Kinderlime gallery, you'll find those there and be able to add them to your newsletters. Or if you just have some saved photos on your desktop, you can click upload photo and drop it from the file. Everything here, it's kind of anything you see square. Again, that's a photo. All the lines signify that there will be a text feature. Down here, though, is a little bit different. This is a line break, so if you want to break up the newsletter a little bit, you can throw these on there just to really just specify the sections. You can also, any items you don't like, you can delete them. So that way you're not stuck with something if it's not working. After you put everything together, you realize, maybe I don't like the arrangement. You can delete the different layouts as well as drag and drop anything that if you want to rearrange it. So let's say if I wanted to put my family photo up here instead, I can rearrange it that way and just kind of play with the layout and change it up a little bit. The final step that you can add to are attachments. So when you do regular the app-to-app messages to the family, you can't add you're not able to add any attachments to the messages, but you can in newsletters. So if there's ever a time that you need to share a document with the families, you can come here on the newsletters. Oh, and let me refresh my page real quick. And just hit attach file. That's going to open up your documents, and then you can just find the file that is relevant. So I'm going to use this one, open it, and you'll see it'll begin loading at the bottom. Once you have your layout the way you like it, you can just do a quick review, make sure everything looks good, you like the background, you like the formatting. The next step is preview and send. So this will show you what the parents will see when the newsletter comes to their email. And from there, that's when you can go ahead and add which families and students you want to include. So in this case, once you add the students, you can come here and either filter by room. So if I wanted to just do the turkey room, or you can also go by tag as well and just select which students. You can either do select all or individually pick the students that you want to send it to. The alternative too is you're also able to use the newsletters for memos for your staff. So if you want to do internal communication with your staff members, you can create newsletters specifically for them. And once you get to this send to section, that's where you come here and just select choose staff, and instead just choose your staff member. So that way it goes directly to them. Once you hit done, it'll show all the students that you have selected up here. So you can always just do one final double check, making sure that you have who you want selected and who you need to be selected. And then the final step is just hitting send newsletter. And once that's sent, that's where you'll see the newsletter will come here to the sent file. So you can review who is sent to, which students, as well as just separate out from the drafts. If there's ever a time, maybe next year, you want to reuse the same newsletter you previously sent or next month, you can always come here to the three dots. And what you'll see is there's an opportunity you can rename it. So if you need something easier to search for, or you can also make a copy of it. So if you make a copy, it'll reopen it in the drafts. So that way, for the next year, you can always just reopen that draft and make the changes to the copy. So that way you're not changing what you previously sent, but you can reuse it and edit it so that it works for the next time you need that specific newsletter. Let's see. So a few questions we have are you able to print a copy of the newsletters? Not directly from Kinderlime, but one of the workarounds you can do for that is when you do the preview and send and add staff and students, add yourself. Um, to the newsletter, so that way it gets sent to your email. You can always print it off from there so it comes out nice and neatly as a PDF. You can always save it as a PDF to print, and that way you can print a copy of the newsletter. However, that is a great suggestion, and I'll definitely pass that back to the relevant team to review for future releases. Another question we have, is there or will there ever be a way to track if parents have viewed the newsletters? At the moment, no. There is not a way to see which parents have opened the newsletters. But again, that is a really great suggestion that I'll pass along to um, the relevant team. Another question I have is, will the letter send multiple emails to families with multiple children? No. So, and the question was, will the letter send multiple emails to the families with multiple children? It will not, because what happens is if you go to my school and students, let me find a good example. We'll use the Sanderson sisters. If I go into Sarah's, I have Winifred and Sarah linked as siblings. And so because of that, their parent, Mary, is linked as a sibling or as their parent collectively. So even though you have both siblings on there, the system's recognizing that their accounts are linked together and only one email will be sent to that particular family. And then can I include a hyperlink to a website in the newsletter? You most certainly can. Let's go ahead and go back to my Thanksgiving draft. So if I was to come here, I'm going to open my sample text, for example. So if you open that up, what you'll see is there's customization. Maybe I should have covered this, but we'll do it now. There's customization for the text section itself. So if I was to, I can bold, italicize, underline, even do a strikeout. This is where you can decide what font family you want to use within the text. So if you're adding a message, maybe you want to do a quick headline. So we'll go ahead and change the font family. You can change the font size. Will give you the ability to change the colors. I promise I'm getting to the hyperlink. I know I'm taking the long way. But if I wanted to change the colors, what style I have the paragraph formatting, the alignment, if you want to make it a list, bullet points, you can make charts, and you can add indent, you can indent it. The final one though is hyperlink. So you can go ahead and put a link to where you want to send it and what text you want to look like. You can also choose if you want it to open in the current window. So if they click the link, their page is going to refresh. Or if you click open in a new tab, what that'll do is when they click the link, it will open a brand new tab in their browser instead of refreshing the page. And just like that, the link is now there. Once the link is inserted, you can go here you can test it by opening the link, or you can also change the style, how you want it to look, and edit the link or unlink it. So if I don't want it to be a link anymore. And then one of the questions we have, are you able to create a newsletter through the app or only on the desktop? This specific feature is a desktop or dashboard feature, just because how in-depth it is with the different layouts, adding the photos. It would kind of bulk up the app, and we want to make sure the app runs smoothly so you guys can do things quickly. But it's definitely something you'll find on the website. And let's see. One of the other questions we got is they both we got two questions and they kind of go hand in hand. One of them was, can I send a Kinderlime newsletter to our donors? And is there an option to include other addresses on these? For example, we'd like to send these kind of things with our board members or staff in other departments. Um, at the moment, again, those aren't features that we have in the newsletter to add other members. I'm trying to think if there's a workaround for that. Um, let's see. So at the moment, not really. What you could do is, like with your board members, let's use that example, or staff in other departments, you could always add them as staff. I'm going to use a quick example address. You can always make them non-admin so they don't have access, but we also just made a change. I hesitate. Sorry, I'm trying to think of a workaround out loud and realizing maybe it might not work, but you could change their permissions. So if you do want to add other staff members, um, what you could do is just not include an email address so they can't log into Kinderlime. Or if you do add an email address, step back. Okay, I got this. So if you need to send it to people who aren't in your specific staff list, what you could do is add them as staff, but do not invite them to Kinderlime. That way they can't create an account and log in and see everything, but their email address is there. So if you do need to send it to them as um, a newsletter to board members or staff in other departments, their email addresses are there. But again, just make sure you have invite to Kinderlime unchecked, so that way they can't actually access the Kinderlime database and the student's information, but their emails are there to use. However, um, again, I like the feedback we're getting during this session, so I'll definitely bring that to the team to review and to see if that's something we can add for future consideration. Let's see, any other questions out there regarding the newsletter, the arrangement, or anything like that? I think last thing I want to mention too is, especially once you start creating your newsletters, you're going to have a lot in there. So as I mentioned, the titles that you guys put in there, that's what you can use to search for it. Um, So if I was to put my thankful for Thanksgiving, that's going to pop up. And as you type it, it'll start showing suggestions. So maybe if you don't remember the specific newsletter you're looking for, but you remember one of the words, just put what you remember and it's pretty intuitive. You can also filter by rooms. So you can see newsletters that you've previously sent by the classroom. Or you can also use tags. So if you use tags to send the newsletters, you can also use that as a way to search, and it'll show every newsletter that has been sent to that room or to that tag. You can also do that in the drafts as well. So if you have a bunch of drafts, so something that you started, you want to come back to it, you can start putting in the title of the newsletter. And again, if you started saving it for a room or by tags, you can use that there as well. And please don't apologize for any questions that you send, but the newsletters, are they only available to parents through their email or can they view it through the app? So the newsletters go directly to the parents' emails. It's not something that they're able to view in the app. It gets sent directly to their email addresses. That way, especially if you have attachments or anything like that, it can go directly to them. And then Is there a way to send emails to teachers but not give them access to Kinderlime? So yes, kind of what I just discussed is what you could do is under My School Staff, add teachers, and you can add their email addresses, but uncheck Invite to Kinderlime. So that way it won't send them an invitation, it won't give them a code to sign up for your program, but that way their email can be listed in the database. You can also come in here and change their permissions as well. So that way they shouldn't be able to sign up if you don't invite them or if you uncheck the invite. But again, you can also adjust their permissions now. Um, Once you have that updated, if I did this correctly, let me do a second example. So if I was to put my father time in, I'm going to do Brittany an example email address. And again, uncheck invite to Kinderlime, make them non-admin, and create staff. So what you'll see is the difference between Santa Claus, who I invited. His email will show re-invite, so an invitation has been sent, and if he opens it, he can join. But if I uncheck that, I'll see just an invite button. So if that's clicked, then maybe Father Time can join. But if it's unclicked, they're just in there, but they can't actually join Kinderlime. So if I was to go now, though, to the newsletters, I'm going to use one of my drafts and scroll down to preview and send. If I add students and staff and choose staff, Father Time is listed there, although he cannot, even though he cannot join Kinderlime, the email will still go to him for the newsletter. So it's a way to add staff emails to the system without actually giving them access. And when I hit done, this newsletter is going to send over. Is there a way to add space for newsletters? We've tried to send a calendar attachment and it states it's too big. Can you clarify that one a little bit more in the question when you say adding the space to the newsletters? I want to make sure I'm on the same boat. So if you can just send one more clarification, I'll follow up on that question. Are the parents able to view the newsletters through the app? No, so the newsletter, when you send it to the parents, it gets sent directly to the email that's in their account. So even if they haven't signed up, so all my parents have a waiting bar, but an email is in there. So even though they haven't signed up, it still goes to their email address. So the benefit of that is maybe they just haven't had time to sign up yet, but start of the school year, you need to get information to them. As long as an email's there, it'll still get sent to their email address. No sign up for Kinderlime is needed to send out those emails as long as it's there. Let's see. And then is there a way to add space? I try to add calendar attachments. Is there a way to add space for newsletters? We've tried to send a calendar attachment and it's specified that it's too big. I'd say with that one, if you could actually send a follow-up chat to me using the chat box right here, that way I can kind of review the attachment that you're trying to add to the file and double check maybe what adjustments need to be made that so it can fit. But just note too with the newsletter itself, you could add like a photo and just take a screenshot of the calendar and include that as a photo itself, so it's on there and showing. You could do with the text option. It has the option for like a table, and you can customize the table um, to look more like a calendar attachment. But again, with that question in particular about your calendar attachment being too big, just use the chat box and just say, hey, Britt, or hey, Brittany, this is a question I asked. Can you follow up? And that way I know it's you. I'll keep an eye out for that chat. Can we add a customized background? No, so the backgrounds, the only options we have are what's at the top. But again, any feedback I get during this chat, it's definitely all being written down and will be provided to the team just to review and hear. And then can we resend newsletters? Say we have a parent that claims they never received the newsletter. Also, are the newsletters sent to all email addresses on file for the student? So the email addresses are sent to anyone who's listed as a parent. So if you have, let's go ahead and leave this for a moment. Anyone you have listed as a parent on their account or as a guardian, the newsletters will be sent to them. If you have the authorized pickups, those don't get sent because they don't have emails, but parents and guardians, the newsletters are sent to them. To resend the newsletter, you are able to. I would just say in this case, what's probably easiest is to make a copy of it like we did earlier, and then just open that draft and you'll see all the same info that you've already put will be there, and just preview and send and add that student again. I'd recommend though, if there's a parent that says they have not received the newsletter, ask them to double check in their spam or junk folders. Sometimes depending on their email account, if it's a work one, Gmail, Yahoo, any email address really, depending on what their spam filters are for their personal account, it may automatically filter to their spam or junk folder. So if a parent says they haven't received it, double check the email and file is correct, or have them double check within their account that their email looks right. If it does look right, have them check their spam or junk folder. I promise most of the time that's probably where it ended up, and they can mark it not spam, so moving forward it doesn't go there. If you find that their email on file is incorrect and needs to be updated, send us a chat. Again, in this chat box, let us know the parent's first and last name and what the email needs to be corrected to, so that way we can update it on all sides and make sure that moving forward they have all communication and the correct email in the system. And one of the questions was about how the parents signed up through their mobile numbers. If the parents have created an account, their email should be added to their program or to their account, so that way they can log in and out. If you could send me a chat on that one, again, just say, hey, Britt, or hey, Brittany. That way I can look into that a little bit further. But if the parents are able to make a Kinderlime account, they may have received the invitation initially to their mobile number, but to be able to log in and out, they would have to eventually use an email address. So there should be one in there for them. If not, send me a chat. We can discuss that one a little bit further. So we're coming up on our time. However, are there any other questions, or we can definitely run over if there's additional questions there, or anything that you want to look at. Again, if there is a parent activity or daily activity you want to look at, we can do that, or the newsletters a little bit further. But just let us know. Send us a chat, and that way, any other questions. Okay, so we've hit our 30-minute mark. If you guys do have any other questions that popped up, okay, before we disconnect, a few questions were, one of them was, what kind of access is granted under the student tab when granted access for staff? So again, we recently released a option for roles and staff permissions. For this, it's if you have it as read only, it means they can just read the students' profiles. They can't add new students. They can't change the information on the student profile. This is the first phase of adding role and permissions, so that way you guys can customize what staff can see what staff can edit information or anything like that. So read only is just no editing or anything like that. And for your second question about the messages, is there a way to allow staff to read messages but not respond? For that one, go ahead and send me a direct chat. I think I can figure out, we can work on a workaround, but let's discuss some options to see if that works for your program specifically. And again, use the chat box, just hit Britt or Brittany. I'll be on there, and we'll any questions about customizing the roles, customizing the newsletters, or anything about daily activity. This is our team here. We are available for questions at any time. Well, anytime between 8 a.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern, but we do try to check it in the evenings and weekends as well. Go ahead and just send us a chat. These sessions are recorded, and so if you want to review this later, again, hey Britt, hey Brittany, can I have the recording? That way, once I get it uploaded to our YouTube channel, I can send that your way so you can review it again. And last question we have is, can staff make their own newsletter if they are signed up? Yes, so staff will be able to make newsletters under Parent Connection. And that way they can send it within their classroom, and that's something you can discuss with them if you want them to be able to do that. Again, send me a chat on that one. Let's talk about it a little bit further. But I thank everyone for your time today. If you have any questions, please let me know using the chat box. And I hope you guys had a great Halloween. And as we go into the holiday season, I hope you have a great holidays as well. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.